Hey guys, what's going on today? Hope everybody's doing well. Um, First of all, thanks Natalie for chiming in on the headaches. Totally forgot. Sorry. Seniors moment. Um, Keto flu. That's what it is. It's not the flu. It's when people are adjusting and they don't have enough ketones to fuel the brain. They're lacking sugar and that's why they have those maybe minor headaches I've heard. So stick with it. Natalie said just add some salt, which is exactly what you should be doing. Salt's a good thing. A lot of people are worried about salt, but if you're taking all the processed foods out of your diet with all the salt in it, added salt in it, you're not really getting much salt from fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and whole foods. So a little pinch of either Celtic salt, very good, Natalie. It's one of the best, high in minerals, or Himalayan salt. Two of the easy to get in any supermarket. So those are the two best. Pinch of salt, electrolytes in general will help you get over the keto flu and get rid of the headaches. But it's not doing you any damage. Just stick with it, hang in there, and you'll get through that. Also, Natalie asks if you can have MCT oils in your coffee. Absolutely. Great way of starting the day. Doesn't affect your fast. Doesn't affect your blood sugar levels or insulin. So that's a great way to start the day with a teaspoon or two of MCT oils in your coffee. Make sure you don't take too much if you're not used to it, because you will get a stomach ache. So start slow, start with a teaspoon, and you can gradually increase that and throughout the day, because again, MCT oils produce ketones, which is a clean fuel that your body prefers to use. Okay, so thanks for that, Natalie. See, this is not the Mark McKoy show, okay? This is a team. We help each other, and I'm always here to learn things that I don't know from anybody. I learn in my training sessions sometimes from 6-year-old kids asking me, Mark, why don't you do it this way? And I'm like, that's true. Why don't I do it that way? So sometimes it makes complete sense. Sometimes you get your blinders on and you're used to doing things a certain way, and you don't see better ways of doing things, or some really gets me down when I see trainers not open to other people's methods. There are lots of ways out there, and it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. We gotta adjust things for everybody's individual needs. So I'm always open to questions, suggestions, and you know what? As much as I think, I'm not always right. Most of the time I am, though. Okay, so thanks, Natalie, for that. So MCT oils in your coffee, 100%, absolutely. That will definitely help you. Helps with hunger cravings as well. But your body will start to learn to burn fat, and that's what we want to do, because it's a huge amount of energy that's released from fat compared to sugar. So you'll start, once you get used to that, you will feel so much more energy, so much more clarity, even thinking. Everything becomes a lot easier, body and mind. So thanks so much, Natalie. Dawn, back to foods with, hear about chicken? Yeah, so again, that's a huge subject. So we'll get into that later. But she's also heard a lot of bad things about salmon, and it's true. You want to stay away from farm fish. You want to stay away from the bigger fishes, because they have heavy metals in them, which like to be stored in fat. So if you have a little more body fat than you want, you'll store more toxins, more heavy metals, and when you release them, you're not going to feel good. So stay away from foods that are farmed, especially fish that are farmed. The best type of salmon is Alaskan or sockeye. They are not allowed to be farmed. Next being Atlantic salmon, and the last being Pacific, because most Pacific salmon, you find is cheaper, is farmed. Okay, so I eat a lot of salmon, usually Alaskan or sockeye. Again, a little more expensive. Also talked about other foods that or meats that you should be eating, and you want to have grass-fed beef. Now, it's a little more expensive, but that's offset because you're not going to eat as much of it, so it works its way out. And if you think about how much money you spend on things that, like Starbucks coffee, for example, who pays $5 for a coffee? Like, seriously. So there's little things. People buy some, a nice bottle of red wine, or there are different things you can look around and say, you know what, I don't think twice in spending money on that, but you'll think twice in your health. So grass-fed meats are a little more expensive, but since you're cutting your eating window and the amount of meals you eat, it should offset the cost, and you'll feel a lot more, better. I'll spend anything on my health. I don't care. Like, I'll give up other things other than my kids, and spend a lot on my health. So it's getting more and more popular. It used to be hard to find, but now a lot of places have grass-fed. But here's the key. You have to have grass-fed and grass-finished, because there's a trick that the meat industry use, is they'll have grass-fed beef, and then they'll fatten them up with corn and soy and all these feeds that they use with antibiotics and all this crap in it, and steroids and hormones to fatten them up in the last 2 weeks of their lives, and then they slaughter them. So it not only has to be grass-fed, but it has to be grass-finished, okay? If I don't eat meat right now, but if I were to go back, I would go back to beef first, being grass-fed and finished. Chicken I would never touch again. And lamb, pork, I haven't done enough research. I'm on the fence with those. They would be down the road. But from fish, I would go to beef. And but again, it's worth the extra money. And like I said, you're gonna offset the cost by not eating as much of it. So there you go. Now, don't neglect your exercises, because those will be coming soon. See you then.